Look truth, okay. Okay, the first feature I would like to show you is the plastic drive feature, okay? The plastic drive is a tool that allows the user to mount a chainset as a Windows drive, and this way let you quickly browse the code using your favorite IDE, okay? This way, using this feature, you don't need to perform a plastic update operation, okay? You can just browse the code in a chainset, perform your changes, run your builds, run your tests, and you avoid to run the update operation. For instance, if you are working with in projects with very big binary files, this update operation, it can take a few minutes or seconds, it depends, but this drive, it's almost automatic. I will show you how to perform this operation. You can just right click in a chainset, and there is a new option here that is called mount this chainset in a plastic drive. Okay, I'm going to click on this option, and as you can see, this operation happens almost automatically. Okay, you don't need to wait for a long and big update to finish. What is very interesting about this new feature, you probably know a very old feature in Plastic, that is the browse chainset operation. It's here, a different one is browse chainset operation. What's the difference? When you run the browse operation, you can open files one by one, okay? But you cannot open a complete, for instance, Visual Studio solution, or you cannot run your tests in the complete chainset. So this new plastic drive feature is very more powerful than the previous browse chainset operation. Okay. How you can install this new feature in Plastic? It's very easy. I'm going to show you. If you drive to the Plastic metadata folder that it's in by default in Windows at C users Carlos pipdata local plastic 4. I think it's the weclient.com folder file. Sorry, there is a new field here that it's show mount plastic drive equal true. Okay, if you add this field in the weclient.com file, you will be able to use this new feature. You can create as many drives as you need. For instance, I'm going to create a new one for a different chainset. For instance, now for chainset 24 in my project, mount this chainset in a plastic drive. It's very fast. I can run my test. I can open my Visual Studio solution, review the code, review the complete Visual Studio solution, etc. Okay, so I guess that it's very easy to understand, and it's very powerful. Of course, if you have any question during this webinar, you can just stop or raise your hand or post a comment, a question here in the webinar, and we can check in detail or your questions. Okay. Okay. The next feature I would like to show you is the new semantic method history. Okay. Not sure if you know, there is another tool we also provide that is called semantic merge. But this semantic method history is the first application of the semantic merge technology inside the core of Plastic SCM. Okay, it's the first time we include this technology in our core. Not sure if you know a similar technology that is called CodeLens. It's included by default in Visual Studio and other tools. Okay, it's pretty similar than this technology, but our semantic method history has a few improvements. Okay, for instance, the CodeLens technology is not able to track when you perform a move of a method between different classes. CodeLens is not able to track this operation, but our semantic method history is able to do it. Okay, so this feature is much more easy to understand if I show you an example. Okay, I'm going to show you an example. It seems there is a question here. We are Okay, sorry about my accent. Okay, I'm going to show you an example of this semantic method history, okay? It's very easy to understand. Imagine I have a project here in Plastic. I have already created a repository and I've already added my code, okay? So I'm going to perform a modification in my code. I'm going to, for instance, I would like to perform a move, okay? I'm going to move a method from one location to a different location. So let's do it. For instance, I'm going to cut this method and move it to a different location, for instance here. This operation is very interesting, for instance, when you are performing a refactor in your code or you are performing a lot of changes, okay? So I'm just simulating a typical scenario, and where I'm refactoring my code, I'm moving a method in the CMD runner file, and I'm going to commit the changes, okay? I commit the changes, and I'm going to run this semantic method history feature, okay? I'm going to click on the annotate view from here, that you probably know this view, and I'm going to, let's check the method I already modified is process run. Okay, I'm going to perform a new modification, a different method, for instance in launch command. Get all server prefix. Okay, get all server prefix moved in launch command. I'm going to commit the changes. I'm going to run the annotate. Okay, here you can see that in the change at 31, there is a modification in my code. It's identified by this annotate view. But now if I run click in this line and select the show semantic method history, I can check that Plastic is able to track the different modifications I performed in this method, okay? The last modification is a move operation down one position, okay? Previously, in my previous development workflow, I changed and move up two positions, and the first thing I did with this method was just add it to source control. So with this semantic method history feature, you will be able to track all the modifications, all the move, delete, ADD, change operation, doesn't matter, all the operations you perform in your methods or classes will be tracked by Plastic, okay? The way to run this feature is very easy, as I showed you before, is just right click, run the annotate view, and here in the annotate view, you can just right click in the part of the code, in the method you would like to check, and select show semantic history. I'm going to check the correct place. Okay, and I can see the different operations I've been doing in this specific method. Okay, I think it's clear this feature. This feature is also available from the different plugins, for instance, the Visual Studio. So if you are using Visual Studio, you will be able to track your different modification in your methods. So you will be able to use this semantic method history technology. Okay. If you have any questions regarding this feature, it's the time to take a look. But I think it's not difficult to understand how it works. Okay, so let's continue. After showing you the Plastic drive and the semantic technology, I'm going to show you a new feature. That is we have been performing improvements in our diffing technology, okay? In the way we show the differences in Plastic. I'm going to close these views. Okay. Yes, as I was saying, we have just introduced a great step in the way we show that we show the differences between branches and changes in plastic. Okay, the way we display these changes is now very improved, and it's possible to understand where each difference is coming from when you perform a merge. Okay, now when you are performing a merge in plastic, you will be able to see where the differences are coming from. Okay, it's much more easy to understand this feature if I make an example for you. Okay, so in order to do that, I'm going to create a branch, for instance tax 003. I'm going to switch my workspace to this branch, and I'm going to perform a modification in my code. Okay, I'm going to just add a comment, for instance, in this file. CMD runner and commit changes task 004. Okay, I'm just performing a change in the CMD runner file in the task branch. Now I'm going to perform a change also in my main branch. I'm just simulating a typical merge scenario when there are some kind of conflicts. Okay, so I'm going to switch my workspace to the main branch. And perform a few changes. I'm going to modify the same file as well, the CMD runner file. I'm going to add a new comment, and I'm going to save the changes, and I'm going to perform a different change, for instance a delete operation, and I'm going to commit the changes in the main branch. And now I'm going to perform the merge. Okay, I'm just reproducing a typical merge scenario in order to show you how the new diff view is working. Okay, so now if I run the merge from this branch, there will be a few conflicts. I'm going to process the merges as we always do, and now I'm going to commit the merge. Now is the time to check the differences of this task 003 branch. Okay, if I double click the branch, I can check the diff view, the differences. Okay, and you can see that it's pretty different as how plastic it was showing this information before. Okay, now you can get the information of the merges as well. Okay, so you can see that this modification in this CMD runner and this delete of this specific file are coming from the merge operation. Okay, so I've running a merge, and this merge operation has introduced these two modifications. Okay, in addition to these two modifications, there is another modification that has been introduced in the task branch. So what does this icon mean? CC. It means that this file has been modified in both contributors. Okay, it has been modified in both the main branch and the task branch. So you can see here with this improved diff view, you will be able to track very easy all the differences. Where are they coming from? Okay, if you are normally performing merges, you are performing rebase in your tasks or whatever, you will be able to track in a better way all the changes that are being performed in your branches. Okay. Any question regarding this feature? Do you find it useful? Not sure if you already checked it before, or have you been working with it? Okay, so let's continue. I would like you to show as well a new very interesting feature. Actually, more than a feature, is a new user interface we have very recently released. We call this user interface Gluon. Okay, by default it's stored in the client folder. So you go to the client folder and type Gluon. You will be able to open the user interface. It seems there is a question or not. Just say hello. Okay. You have a question? Yeah, you can just raise your hand or. There is no sound. Can you hear me? Can you confirm if you are able to hear me? Okay, it seems that everybody is able to hear me, so it seems that the problem is to only one person. Just let me check if I can modify the sound a little bit, only to be sure that everybody can hear me properly. There is a question as well. Meantime I'm modifying the sound, let's check the question. Gluon is in a different product? No, Gluon is included by default in Plastic. Okay, so if you install the last Plastic version, you will be able to use Gluon. Okay, you don't need to buy a different product or use a different license or stuff like that. It's just a new user interface for the same product. Okay, so you can use now the classic user interface or this new Gluon user interface. Okay, I'm going to show you how this new user interface works and the most interesting feature. Okay, I'm going to close a few windows I have from here. Okay, this Gluon new user interface was firstly designed for the users who typically don't like to work with version control systems. For instance, artists or not very technical people. Okay, so the goal of this user interface is give the developer or the artist the possibility to use a version control system, but they don't need to learn a lot of things. They don't need to know about merges. They don't need to know about branches. So the goal is to make a very easy to use user interface that can be used for any kind of people. Okay, artists, not technical, not engineers. So that's the goal of this user interface. Okay. There are a few scenarios that we find very interesting to use this user interface. Okay, for instance, imagine I'm an artist and I don't want to merge files. Okay, I don't want to create branches because it's very difficult to me to understand this kind of terminology. I don't want to learn how a version control system works. So this operation in this user interface happen in the background. Okay, so the artists don't need to worry about this kind of operations. Another very interesting scenario that you might like to use this user interface is when you like to lock the file you are working on. Okay, imagine I'm working in a specific file and I don't like other people to modify my file at the same time I'm working on it. Okay, so I can just lock the file and I'm totally sure that anybody is modifying the file. And a different scenario that we might find interesting to use this user interface is, and very important, is when you don't want to download all the content from the repository. Okay, imagine that you are working in a project. This project contains very huge binary files. Its project contains a lot of folders, and you are going to work in some only specific files. Okay, so using this user interface, you can only download the specific files you are going to work on it. Okay, so you don't need to perform very long update operations. downloading very huge binary files or folders, and you can just focus on the file you are going to work on. Okay. I'm going to make a small demo about this user interface, about how it works. I'm going to create a workspace. This view is pretty similar to the old user interface. Gluon demo, path on disk C TMP Gluon demo, and I'm going to choose the repository. Okay, I have here my workspaces, and I'm going to open the new workspace. You can see here that there are only three tabs. Okay, the Explore Workspace tab, the Check-in Changes tab, and the Change Sets tab. Okay. As you can see, there is no content in my workspace right now because I'm not performed any update operation. So the first step is to click on the Configure button and select the content I'm going to work on. Okay, as I said, I can specify the files that I want actually to download in my workspace. Okay, so I can avoid to download all the content of the repository. So for now, for this example, imagine I just want to download this script and the README file, for instance. I don't want to download the CMD runner folder, including the binary files. So I select these two files, I click on the Apply button, and that's all. Only these two files have been downloaded to my workspace, and I avoid to download all the big binary files I don't need. Okay. There is a new question. Would you recommend Gluon? Sorry. Okay, do you recommend Gluon as a document management tool? Yeah, actually, it would be a good solution. I mean, Gluon is a tool that can handle very different scenarios. You can use it to manage your documents. If you have, for instance, some people that don't used to work with version control systems, don't have the knowledge of branching, merging, or it's difficult for them to manage the classic user interface, of course you can allow them to use this new Gluon. Okay, it's totally open, the different scenarios that Gluon can handle. Okay, how does admin control what artists can control? Okay, the admin or the control that can the artist do is performed using the permissions. Okay, the permission system is exactly the same as the classic user interface. Not sure if you have been working with the Plastic permissions as before. I'm going to open again the previous user interface. But in Plastic, you can control almost all the permissions of all the operations. Okay. For instance, in my repository, if I right-click and select permissions, I can configure every single Plastic operation per user. Okay, so you can select the users or the group of users that some operations can be done, and you can configure on your own, on your needs, the different permissions. Okay, these permissions apply in both the classic user interface and also the Gluon. So it's actually the same workflow. Okay, if you have been working with Plastic with the other user interface, the permission mechanism is exactly the same. Okay. Okay, just to finish the example using the Gluon user interface, I've already created my workspace. I've downloaded only the specific files I would like to work on it. Okay. I'm going to perform a modification in my code. Okay, I'm going to check out the file. This checkout operation is the operation that allow the user to lock the file. Okay, if I can configure the lock depending on the needs. I can configure the lock by file extension, by file type, whatever. But when I check out, if I have enabled the lock mechanism, I'm totally sure that anybody is going to modify the file at the same time. Okay, so this file is totally blocked for me, so I'm the only person I can modify this file, and after performing the changes, I'm going to commit the changes. I click on the checking changes tab, and I'm going to commit my changes. As you can see here, you have the same options as the classic user interface, the refresh, the check-in, and the undo. Okay, I'm going to click on the check-in, and that's all. There is the third tab is the changesets view, where you can see all the changesets in the repository. Okay, so in summary, you have the Explore workspace, where you can see all the content you have decided to download because it's totally configurable. The second view is the checking changes view, where you can commit your changes, and the third view is the changeset view, where you can check all the changesets. Okay, and you can run diff as well from this view. Okay, so the diff operation is also available in this user interface. Okay, as you can see, it's very easy to use, it's very configurable, and you can handle different scenarios. If you have different kind of people working in your companies, like artists or not very technical people, everybody can use Plastic, because depending on your needs, you can use the classic user interface with all the Plastic feature, with all the extended commands, etc. Or you can use this glue-on user interface, focus on the other people that is not able to use the classic user interface. Okay. Okay. Yes. There's another question. Could you please show the change comparison again? You mean the diff view, right? To check the differences. Okay, you can just right click in any changesets from this view and select diff with previews. Okay, this specific file is not a text file, so that's the reason there is no text in the diff view. There is only information regarding the file size, the date, etc. But if you are performing a diff between text files, for instance, I guess some kind of text file somewhere here. Okay, for instance, this diff operation, you will be able to check the difference of your code. Okay, so it's pretty similar to the diff view we have already seen in the classic user interface. It doesn't have all the features, but it's very useful for this kind of people that uses this user interface. Okay. Do we get to see differences in images? Yeah, actually, let me check. I don't have this ready for this demonstration, but there is a diff tool for performing diffs in images. By default, Plastic I'm not sure if I can find it now. If not, I will send you the information regarding these differences between pictures. But I mean, by default, Plastic is able to check the differences between the text files. Okay, if there are binary files, you will only get the differences between the file date, the file size, and the person who performed the modification. Okay, you are not able to perform the diffs between binary files, but we have some kind of tools, for instance, for pictures or some kind of specific binary files that is able to check the differences between those files. Okay, I'm going to show you this specific tool because I would like to look for the information in the documentation. Okay, so just after the webinar, I can send you the link. There is another question, and while at it, Excel, PowerPoint. Okay, yes, you can use the source control for your Excel, for your Office in general, PowerPoint documents. I'm going to show you a feature for this kind of documents. I think it's easier to find. Plastic has an office plugin, okay, where when you are using this plugin, you will be able to perform all the source control operation from the Office, from the Word, the Excel, etc. Okay, so for instance, in this document, you will have a menu where you can perform all the operation. You can perform a commit, you can run the differences, etc. directly from the Word. Okay, so there is a plugin specific for Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. So maybe you will find very useful this plugin. The licensing, using it doesn't matter the license you have, the free one, the enterprise doesn't matter. This plugin is available. Okay, I'm going to show you as well how to install both this plugin and other Plastic feature. If you run a Plastic installer, let's check if I can show you the different options when you are installing Plastic. I'm going to stop the 3 Plastic drives. Okay. I need to close. Okay, continue. I mean, there is an option in the installer where you can select to install the Office plugin as well as other features. Okay, you go through the installer. Here you can see Office plugins. You can see Office for all the versions. I've only installed 2010, so I have only this possibility available. But there are features for all the previous one. Okay. You can select here also to install the Plastic Glue-on user interface. Okay, so everything is available in the installer. Doesn't matter the license you have because all the features are available. Okay. Okay. Not sure if do you have more questions or any other feature you would like to review or anything Plastic related? Okay. Okay, it seems that there are no more questions. So thanks for coming for this webinar. You are very welcome. If you have any question, you can reach us in our forum or directly in our email. And of course, all the feedback is very welcome in order to improve our tool. So just thank you very much for coming. There is the last question. File formats with no plugin, can we instead store historical versions on the entire document? I mean, this plugin allows you to perform the different source control operation directly from the Word or the Excel application. Okay, but you don't need actually to install the plugin to work with this kind of files. Just using the plugin is easier for you to perform the operation, but you can use always the classic user interface. Another question. Yeah. You can use every kind of format you like. Okay, PDF doesn't matter. The thing is, depending on the file format, the differences will be shown or not. Okay, if there are binary files, Plastic is not able to check the differences between the changes. Okay, so you need specific diff tools for specific file formats. Okay, but by default, Plastic is only able to perform the differences between text files. Okay, no more questions. Sorry, because the question tab is very small. I'm not able to see. Okay, it seems that there are no more questions. As I said, you are very welcome. If you have any last minute question or something Plastic related, you can just send us an email, and you have any feedback or something you would like to see improved in Plastic, just you can reach us when you want. Okay, so thank you very much for your time, and you are very welcome. Bye bye.